Hey folks, I think I've got a bit of a special treat here for you. We all know Circuit. Well, we should know Circuit by now. It's fine instruments, 2 polysynths, 4 drum parts or sample playback parts. Now with the Circuit components we can add our own samples into here. And of course it's a very powerful device for controlling external devices as well, with its MIDI output. And that's fantastic if you've got synths with MIDI ins and that sort of thing. But some of us have older synthesizers that react to control voltage. For example, here I have my trusty old SH-101, and I'm a very lucky man, I have to be honest, because I'm a proud owner of an ARP 2600, which we've got here. And of course these devices, these older devices, and quite a lot of modular gear and this sort of stuff, doesn't have actually MIDI, well, actual MIDI input. So the circuit sequencer, powerful sequencer, how do we use it to control this sort of gear? Well, one of my very good friends down in the fair city of Brighton, where we live, has created this wonderful little box. And this is a prototype, so I'm a very lucky guy to get my hands on this and have a play around with it. It's called the CV.OCD, and it's made by a little sort of startup company, if you like, called Hotchki55. I'll put a link onto their Tindy store. That's a Tindy store, not Tinder store, where you can have a look at some of the other things that Jason, the guy who's making this, is doing as well. For example, I've got another little box here. This is the 6-way MIDI hub, which has a MIDI input, and then that splits out 6 different MIDI outputs there, and it's also got a clock built into it as well. So really clever little pieces of gear. Anyway, Jason is busy at the minute making his CV.OCD. This is the prototype, so there's a few things to be developed on it, but let's see how we can get this working. So I'm just going to plug this in. Now, obviously on the circuit we have MIDI outputs, and the MIDI output usually has the little 3.5 milli connections to a 5-pin DIN connection. But on the CV.OCD we've actually got a mini jack input. So if I take the MIDI out from my circuit, which is here, there we go, and just plug that into the mini jack input. If you've got 5-pin MIDI as well, it's got 5-pin MIDI as well, but I'm going to use the mini jack. Why the heck not? So let's connect up my trusty SH-101, and let's just grab a couple of cables here. So this one we'll use to, well, let's use this one for the gate, as long as enough, I think. So not for the gate, for the CV, I should say. So there we go, CVA, and that's going to CV in there on the SH. And then we need to take a gate signal, which is basically an on-off signal to trigger the notes. So the CV is the pitch, the gate is the on and off signal. And there we go. It's as simple as that, hopefully now. Right, let's just turn down the volume of synth 1 on circuit here, and now. Brilliant, I can now play or control my SH-101 directly from circuit. So this is a real game changer. Absolutely over the moon with this. So let's just put a few parts down here. Let's put some stuff down there. Let's just change that here and put some notes down here. Yep, there we go. And so, okay. Okay, let's go to synth 1 now and just play some steps. Great, so I'm now sequencing my SH-101 directly from circuit. This is incredible. Excellent. So, there we go, fantastic. Circuit is controlling my SH-101. But you'll see on the CV.OCD we've got a lot of outputs on here. And so I've configured this, because you have a little piece of software to configure the box, and I've configured this so that it will or should, play my SH-101 from Synth 2. So once again, I'm just going to set up CV and gate. Now, at the moment, this is a prototype, as I say, and the gate output is just not quite strong enough for some of the older synths, like the ARP 2600 requires quite a bit of voltage as the gate. So, thankfully, on the old ARP 2600, we have a preamplifier, which is basically just able to take a signal and amplify that. So if I run the gate out through the preamplifier and then into the gate input here, I should be able to trigger my ARP 2600 from my circuit. Let's see. Let's again just turn the synth volume down on circuit, and let's just see. Brilliant. So now if I just bring a bit of effect. Excellent. Sequencing my SH-101 and my ARP 2600 with circuit and the wonderful little CV-OCD, CV-OCD from Hotchkiss. Check it out. I'll put a link to his little attendee website so you can have a look, but I'm absolutely over the moon with this.